Hey guys, so I wanted to let you know that today we are covering everything there is to know about idea pins, what they are, what's the purpose of them, why you should take the time to create idea pins for your Pinterest account. I have a lot of notes to go over today, so let's get started. First of all, I wanted to give a little bit of a disclaimer because throughout this video, I might say story pins instead of idea pins. Pinterest very recently just changed the name of story pins to idea pins. So I've been referencing them like that for like a year. All right, so first let's cover the three basic types of pins that exist on Pinterest. First of all, there's static pins. Those are the pins that have existed since Pinterest has been around. It's a still image. The beautiful images that are on your feed are mostly static images. The second type of pin are video pins. These are normal sized pins that have video, whether it's you talking or showing your product or a little GIF that just sort of draws the attention of the viewer. Those are basic video pins. They can have audio, I believe. So you do see quite a few video pins as you scroll through your Pinterest account. The third type that we're going to discuss today are idea pins. They've been around for a little over a year. And basically, the purpose of them is to get more followers on Pinterest. And it's to inspire people to actually take action on a pin. You know that you have all those pins on your board that you were like, oh, for example, I have so many pins of like accent walls, dark accent walls on my Pinterest board that I have never done. Story pins sort of encourage someone to take action. So it's really good if you have a process from start to finish that you could show, if you have a recipe, if you have just helpful tips that you want to show someone from start to finish, how to complete a project. They are multi-page pins. I think you can have up to like 20 pages. They're sort of like Instagram stories in the fact that they're short form video that can continue into the next slide continuously. You can do either video, you could do static, and I'm going to show you examples of each of those types of pins today. So one of the main downsides that I see with idea pins, and this is something you all have asked me about in the DMs on Instagram, is, hey, Sarah, how do I add a link to my idea pins? You cannot. I know that all of your Instagram pins, all your static and video images are linked to your website, which is generating a lot of traffic for you. But in this case, Pinterest wants you to stay on the Pinterest platform. This is like something they haven't done before. So you need to really let your idea pins be high quality content that would encourage people to be inspired to follow you for more helpful tips. Okay. So before, Pinterest hasn't really been about the followers. Pinterest has been so much more about getting traffic to the website. Monthly views don't really matter. They're not the end all be all of your Pinterest marketing strategy, but now things are changing a little bit. A lot of you have noticed in January of this year that your monthly views were doing wonderful, wonderful, and then just plummeted. That's because Pinterest totally changed. You have to use idea pins if you want to grow your Pinterest account. Okay. You cannot not use them and continue to grow aggressively like you have been able to in the past. Pinterest prefers idea pins right now and is pushing them forward on people's feeds. So they're oftentimes the first thing you're going to see. I recently started posting idea pins on my personal profile, on my business profile. I was doing one a week for like 6 weeks, and my monthly views went up and up and up and up. And then I stopped about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Probably 3 weeks ago by now, I just stopped, and my monthly views just dropped to about like 22,000, like something super low. So you do need to be consistent in creating your story pins. Okay, Sarah, how many story pins do I need to do per week? Shoot for one. Shoot for one per week. If you want to really get your account, like really get it going, you could do one per day. I do not think that is sustainable. That's a lot of work. But I would just stick with one per week for now, maybe two. As long as you're doing it consistently, once every 2 weeks, just do what works for you as long as you're consistent. Can you repurpose your content from other platforms as idea pins? Yes, you can totally do that. So let me pull up here. Let me pull up some examples. Let me pull it up and then I'll share my screen with you. Let's look at Just Jordana. She had a super simple idea pin that we made. It was repurposed from her Instagram, a carousel pin on her Instagram. And it went viral, which is amazing. There we go. So let's go back to the first slide. This idea pin is super simple. This was a carousel post on her Instagram. We took the caption from the post and just sort of made it into little slides, just static slides made in Canva. Super simple, guys. Last I knew, this had over 50,000 views, but that was like a month ago. And I know her followers have increased by like 300 since this has been posted. You can also take your Reels or TikTok videos and use them as idea pins. The thing to note about using anything from another platform is if there's a watermark on it, you're going to want to either one, remove it, or two, hide it. If it says TikTok on there, if it says like Instagram with like the music or whatever, Pinterest is not going to push that as far because they want everything made in platform as much as possible. So just take note of that. I'm going to show you an example of another client of mine. Her account is very new. It just started. Becky Hoshek. She is a life coach for working moms. And we have been aggressively pushing her story pins over the last couple weeks. So idea pins do not need to be super complicated, guys. She has a podcast and all you have to do is we took some of her points from her podcast and just made it into slides. This was just made in Canva, guys. This is not super complicated. Just going through the points on the podcast so people kind of understand that, because we cannot put a link to the podcast. So just take like your main points, any memorable quotes, put it as a story pin that works well. At the end of each story pin, it's going to ask if you want to follow someone, okay? So they do have the option here to follow. They have the option here to follow. And that is how you can really start to grow the number of followers that you have on your Pinterest account. It's all about the story pins now, guys. So how do you actually go about creating idea pins? You have two options. Basically, number one, you can make them in Canva as static images, download them, and then upload them to Pinterest. That's like the easiest way. The best way, I think that would probably get you traction the fastest, is to actually create them on your phone. If you open up the Pinterest app, at the bottom, you're going to see that plus sign right there. Yeah, right there. And you tap it, and then you're going to hit create idea pin with that blue mark. You're going to hit create new and see you can start recording up to 60 seconds per slide. You have about 20 slides. And then once you have recorded something, you can typically add music, you can add text, you can tag creators in it. Okay. There's so much more you can do on mobile versus desktop. I highly encourage you to get Pinterest on your phone and really start playing around with it, because I think personally, this is just what I think. I think the more you use stuff in Pinterest, like using the platform to create your story pin content, the more Pinterest is actually going to like it. And the more features you use that they offer you, like the text, like the music, like tagging and all of that, I think that's just what they like. Again, that's just my opinion. There's not a whole lot known right now about story pins, idea pins. They're still pretty new. And, Pinterest doesn't just come out and say, here's everything you need to know. We kind of have to figure some stuff out. So I do a lot of testing on my account to see like, ooh, would this work? Ooh, would this work? Something I did notice with one of my clients' accounts is I created a story pin, an idea pin on their recent blog post, published it, and then immediately started scheduling static pins for that blog article that linked to it. And it was one of their highest months that they've had this year. So maybe that's a strategy you could try. I'm always just trying different things, guys. There's like no one size fits all in Pinterest. I'm sorry. There's just not. You just really have to get in there and just start trying stuff and playing around with it to see what starts working. A question that was asked was, Sarah, are these story pins, idea pins indexed with Google? As of right now, I have not seen idea pins indexed with Google. What that means, for those of you who don't know what index with Google means, that's a fancy word for, will these story pins show up in Google results? I have not seen that yet. I do see lots of static pins. That is perfectly normal for after some time to see your static pins start to show up in Google search results, especially Google Images. So I have not seen idea pins show up yet. That being said, I think it's still super important to think through what your audience would be typing in on Google and stuff to find, I don't know, like they could be at some point in time, eventually indexed with Google. I know in some countries, I think maybe in Canada on Pinterest, the story pins, idea pins do not show up in Pinterest search results yet. But I know here in the US, like, for example, let's just search. I was doing this the other day, like chicken recipes or something. And all you see, this is a video pin, but all you see now is just story pin, story pin, story pin, which is cool. But the annoying part to me is that it does not link to the recipe. So you can't just print it off unless they have it in the description over here. Aha, okay, they did it right. Do y'all hear that audio? So they did a combination of video, audio, text, and this is like a super useful video showing you exactly step by step what to do. The recipe is over here on the side. You could take a screenshot of it. You could save it for later, follow Tastemade. This is an excellent example of an idea pin. If you want more inspiration for idea pins, look up just Pinterest. Follow Pinterest's account. And as you can see first, there's so many idea pins, okay? If you want to know what Pinterest wants you to do, follow Pinterest and look at what they are promoting here. So these story pins were not necessarily created by Pinterest. This one was, but a lot of these, they take creators like you and I and use your story pin as an example. So what I'm noticing a lot, I was looking through the feed again this morning, is that they have something like the pin that someone saw on Pinterest. And then the very next one is their own result. Like they tried the pin and this is the result. I think that's what Pinterest is wanting more of is, hey, I saw this on Pinterest and then I did it. Like proof, inspiration and proof. The next one that I wanted you to see is down here. You can tag creators. See that, Hilton Carter? So for those of you who are influencers, this is a really good tip for you. Like instead of just showing, hey, this is me wearing the outfit, actually show how you can use the outfit. Like don't push people to your blog, don't push people to your like to know it, don't push people to link in bio or whatever. Don't do that. Keep people on the Pinterest platform. You can tag other creators on Ideapins, which is so great for you influencers. So if you have a shirt, show 3 different ways to wear this shirt and tag the account in it. Does that make sense? So we're not pushing people away from Pinterest. We want them to stay on Pinterest to be inspired. I believe that was the last idea pin that I wanted you all to see. Well, here's another really good example. This one. It has audio. It's showing her face. She has tagged an account right there. And she's giving super helpful tips. And then again, tagging more people. So let's go over some of the do's and don'ts. I did send an email out about this recently, but I wanted to review it again here in case you did not receive the email. Number 1, do use video on the first slide of your idea pin, especially if you have something where you can show your face. Showing your face is always going to be better than showing a product, okay? Show your full idea from start to finish, from beginning to end. So if you have a recipe or if you are in the DIY furniture refinishing world or the baking world, for me, it would be actually showing how to do a story pin from start to finish. That is a great way. How to publish your first podcast episode from start to finish. Make people actually take action and actually want to do it. You can add some personality by adding stickers, special effects, all the stuff that is available to you on mobile in the Pinterest app to create your story pins. Make sure you're really utilizing that. Here's some things to not do. Do not be overly promotional. You want people to be inspired to take action. Do not push your own affiliate links. Do not push your own like blog posts like, hey, head to the blog post to read more. That is a recent development that I discovered is don't do that, okay? Do not place links to anything in the idea pin description. Sarah, what is the idea pin description? It's sort of where like on the recipe one we were watching earlier, maybe he has something here. Well, this is a really bad example. Hang on. At the beginning, whenever idea pins first came out, I was like, oh yeah, we can just put the link in the description. They can copy paste it. Sure. Super easy. No, I was wrong. This is why we just test everything. Okay, here's an excellent example. This is one of my clients' expedition marriage. We have a video here in the background, text overlay, super easy to read. And then this is the description over here. What I used to do was put head to the blog to read more and then a link to the URL. Don't do that. They really want you to stay on platform, okay? Do not forget to quality check. Double check your spelling and the order of your pins once you upload them and everything, because once it's uploaded, it's uploaded. You'd have to like delete it and start over. You can't edit it once you've posted it. Do not recycle an idea pin from other platforms, okay? So don't just download your TikTok video, immediately upload it to Pinterest because it's going to have that watermark on it. They really want you to be unique. Like you have content that's only on Pinterest. That's not sustainable, and I get it. There is no way that as entrepreneurs, we have time to please Instagram by posting 5 different things per week between IGTVs and stories and reels and lives and all that. Like, it's just not sustainable. I want you to do what's sustainable for you. And I think a really good starting point is to just do it once a week. Just do it once a week. Take your reel, make sure there's no watermarks on it, upload it as an idea pin. I think that's totally doable. Okay. That's like everything I know. I'm sure there's more, but I just can't remember right now. That's everything I know right now about idea pins. So I'm going to show you real quick, like how to actually upload them. Let me get my Canva up here. Like I mentioned, it is best if you can just do it just like you're recording an Instagram story on your phone, adding text. That's what they love. But if you're like, if you just want to do static pins, that's fine. Let me show you. Let's just open up Canva. The size of story pins is the exact same size as Instagram stories. So this would be 1920 by 1080 across. Okay, so they're very rectangular. They are not the size of normal Pinterest pins. So what I have done here in Canva is I have a Canva Pro and I placed a video in the background, and then I did like a simple semi-transparent colored rectangle there. And then I just went through and I created these slides just using text, using arrows to encourage people to keep going. Super duper simple. I did encourage them like, hey, follow us for more marriage advice. That is totally fine. And then I mentioned to leave a comment if your marriage experienced any of these issues, that you want to encourage engagement on idea pins instead of head to the blog to read more. Maybe drop a heart if this, or maybe which one of these options are you, which one of these ideas are you going to try on your blah, 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 blah. Okay. Or which color did you like? Something like that. Something that really encourages engagement instead of them leaving the Pinterest platform. So all we're going to do is download. The first one is an MP4. So I'm just going to download page 1 first. Download, and then the rest of these will be PNGs. Page, come on. 2 through 9, done. Download. And those are downloading. Whenever they get to my desktop, typically what I do is I do rename the images. Instead of being 1.png, 2.png, I actually do like to rename them according to like keywords about what the article is about and stuff like that, just in case they are ever indexed with Google. I want those to be easily indexed, okay? So I have them on my desktop here. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up Pinterest. Let me get in the correct account here. Then I'll share my screen with you guys. I'm going to pretend to upload them to my business profile. No, I do not have marriage counseling content on my website. Please do not look at my website for marriage counseling, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay. Hang on. Okay. First, you're going to need to log into your account and navigate to the board that you're going to upload your story pin to. You could also come up here to create idea pin. That's the easiest way to do it. Now, someday, guys, it looks like we'll be able to run these as ads, which is super cool. So it'd be a great idea to go ahead and create a bunch of idea pins, sort of see how they do, see which one does best. Because someday we might be able to run these as ads, okay? So I'm just simply going to take my my video MP4, drag and drop. It's uploading. You see that? Now, as you remember on the idea pin, it said 4 ways to know if you'll need marriage counseling soon. I'm going to actually just add that in right here, simply because I'm not 100% sure how accurate Pinterest is at reading the words that are already typed in on your uploaded images, or if it's better for keyword results to enter it in on Pinterest like this. I don't know that yet. So I just sort of take the safe road, and for the title, I enter it in. Okay. And here on the right, you can change your alignment, change the font size. You can change the font, all that stuff. So let's do something like this. Move it up a little bit. Just sort of do some basic formatting stuff. I'm going to change the color to like a brown. I'm just doing this super quickly, guys. Okay, so that title pin is done. We're going to add a page, and I'm going to drag and drop all the PNGs into there. Open. Ta-da! Now make sure that they're in the correct order. Just kind of run through them real quick. Make sure that they are all good. You can add text if you wanted to. I don't need to, since I've already done all of that. So we're just going to hit next. Okay. Here's the title, the idea pin title. I personally do not recommend having your pin title the same as what's on the pin. So I have another one here that has more keywords in it. Okay. Make sure you're using, this is bonus for you guys. This is a part of Pinterest coaching, by the way, is a little tip is to always use camel casing. It just looks cleaner. Okay. So I'm going to pretend I'm going to save it to Cozy Home. Reality, you would not. Tagged topics. There's so many topics, guys. So marriage, you can scroll down. Okay, so let's do Christian marriage. Let's do marriage advice. Let's do one more. I don't know if there is. I mean, I have added as many as 10, but I have not seen like a drastic, oh, when I use 3, I only get this many views, or when I use 13, I get this many more views. I haven't seen that yet. I have not. Oh, that's on there twice. Well, we'll just do this one. Add a list. This is the description, okay? So I normally, since I don't have any clients who are food bloggers or craft people, I do notes. And I just paste that in there. And obviously this did not work quite right, but it didn't paste in correctly. Those are supposed to be little bullet points. Okay, so I just kind of summarized what it's about. Drop a comment below if you want to know more about marriage counseling, just something that encourages action, not leaving the platform. And then if I actually wanted to publish this, I would hit publish, but I don't because this has nothing to do with my account. So you could go ahead and click publish. It will store a draft. You can delete it. It's, yeah. I like saving drafts before I publish, just in case something goes haywire. Okay. So I have a mix of reels on my profile. I have a mix of, this is a video that is the first one. And then it's static pins after that. That pin did pretty well. This one did not perform well at all, but probably because it's so niche. The more niche you are, the longer it takes to get your content, get traction on Pinterest. So I hope that this training really helped you out. If you have any more questions about it, shoot me a DM on Instagram, comment below. I'm here to help you guys. So I hope that by using these story pins, this will really help your account to grow.